Welcome everyone back to Ask a Professor, where professors answer questions asked by you. I'm Josh Boyd. Joining us tonight are two friends of the show coming back, Ray Hassan and John Ellerbach. Since you both know how the show works, we're not going to do introductions tonight. We're going to get right to the questions. So what's tonight's first question?
My question is what are your code words for not getting stuff done or for bad students? So what does it mean when I wasn't feeling well today?
I recognize that questioner.
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, what are our code words? What do we say when we didn't get something done, or we have maybe a student that's problematic? What do we say when it's not what we really mean? Do you have anything like that, Ray? Any euphemisms for?
I pretty much say what I mean.
You pretty much say it.
Sort of like the dog ate my homework, or he's having a case of the Mondays. Something like that.
Maybe, I don't know. How about you, John? Do you have any euphemisms for
euphemisms? Well, now does this count my own excuses for not getting work done, or this is
yeah,
just
no, absolutely.
Oh, I have no excuse for that. If I don't do it, I tell them I didn't get it done. But for students, I think you have to be somewhat diplomatic. Mm-hmm. But you also have to get the message across. You know, this isn't going to happen again, Ray.
Yeah.
Right. Something, maybe less intimidating.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, talking about students is always a little dicey. So I guess we probably do temper things a little bit.
If it's me, let's say I'm given a ridiculous assignment that I don't feel like doing, and I don't do it.
You're not giving it to students. It has been given to you. That's what
exactly.
you're saying. Okay.
We've all got bosses, right?
Right.
So I'll say something like, and I hope he's not watching this, I found it difficult to prioritize that this month. And yeah, something like that, yeah.
Okay. So you generally give things back 2 or 3 months late, Ray, is that what you're saying?
No.
No, not at all.
I don't know. I guess I tend to list all the other things that I was doing, which is kind of a cop-out, because I still didn't do whatever it was I was supposed to do. But
if my boss doesn't know what else I'm doing, then...
But I think students do like to have things back on time.
Oh, yeah.
So they have to get it in on time, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a different story, actually. I mean, student stuff, I tend to get it back on time.
Good.
There's some exceptions, sure, but...
what's on time for you?
2 weeks. Like graded stuff? Yeah, 2 weeks.
How about you, John? What's your goal for
A lot depends on what is assigned. If I need to give the feedback earlier to move on with something. Right now I'm teaching students how to do a feature story. And so I need to give them feedback within a few days so they can take the next step. But again, it depends on the assignment.
Yeah. My goal is always the next class meeting. For bigger classes, maybe a week. One of the things that's good and bad about online teaching for me is, you know, the assignment is there. I don't wait till the next time I meet with the class. They just show up. They're there. Yeah. And so that's kind of bad because there's always something else to grade. But on the bright side, it gives me the chance to get feedback, you know, same day sometimes. Yeah. And that's good. I don't know, we got off the question, didn't we, about what we say when we don't get work done?
What are our euphemisms, yeah.
Well, we're not going to divulge anything that would compromise.
Well, maybe we're just all straight shooters. We just say it, I think, for the most part. So, Jane, sorry to disappoint, but I'm not sure we have any code words really to reveal. But before we get into any more questions, let's take a quick commercial break.
Their place on Saturday where we fight for them on Spike, but you know that's always up for grabs.
They're not taking it.
Knowing that when we play them, we're getting their best game, and knowing that when we beat them, we beat the best version of IU.
Well, it's always fun just because, like, you know, it's rivalry week, so like anytime any sport team is going up against Indiana, it's always like you get extra excited for it just because of that pride, that Purdue pride. We are Boilermakers, and even though we're considered Hoosiers in a way, we are the state of Indiana. We're not real Hoosiers, we're Boilermakers. They're gonna bring their A game.
Last year we played them in Mackey.
The Mackey match was insane.
It's about 520, super high intensity, super passionate. So you know they're gonna come ready to play.
Welcome back. Let me remind you of our format. We have not seen this question before right now. Let's see what it is.
If you had to guess, what would be the most likely way that you would die and why?
That's a little bit morbid, but if we had to guess, John, I don't know, what's the most likely way you think you would die?
I'm going to do this until they roll me out of here anyway, one way or another. So my dad's 99. He's still real active, so
Wow.
I'm going to do it till I'm 99. Probably in the midst of one of the most profound things I can say. Utter, and then gone. And then the students all give me a standing ovation, and they carry me out.
That
Right.
would be.
So that before students calling 911 or seeking medical attention.
Well,
Standing ovation, that's
It's going to be too late
That's
for
better.
that, and that's okay.
Okay.
But that's how it goes.
all right. So out in a blaze of glory, right there in front of the classroom.
With a major profundity, which I'm still working on.
Yeah, that would be a class no one would soon forget, though.
Absolutely not, because they go, oh, no final exam.
Right on.
Yeah, could be. Ray, how about you?
That was like the ultimate blaze of glory right there.
Yeah.
I think, like, realistically,
Sure.
like, I don't care. But like, eventually it's going to happen. Like, realistically, probably like heart disease or something. Midwest food and
Yeah.
all the exercise I get from teaching and grading, and it's going to eventually take its toll on me. But I wish I had something a little bit more profound. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna try for your way.
Yeah, or go down with a cause, something you're out demonstrating or doing something that's
Yeah.
going to help humanity, and just, that's it.
Yeah, maybe I'll go like jump off of Mount Everest or something. But that's like
Is that
not on
Wisconsin?
purpose.
Where is that?
What's that? Mount Everest? I think it's over in Asia somewhere.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
I think you're right. I'm not going to disagree with you.
I don't know. I think it's going to be some sort of natural cause. I don't think I've already done all of the crazy stuff in my life. So
Yeah.
And I don't really have anything exceptionally profound to go out on, but I'll be thinking about it, and hopefully I've got a few years.
Yeah.
At least a decent aphorism or something they can hold on to and build on.
Yeah.
I told you I was sick or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I told you I was
Yeah.
sick. Isn't that a famous somebody's epitaph? I
think
told
so.
you I was sick.
I think so. It'll probably be something boring, I figure. You know? And that's fine with me. I'm not sure that I want to make the news for dying in some obscure, bizarre, terrible way. When do you think about? I mean, this is not something I think about very often. Do you ever think about?
Well, naturally, you have
This
your
kind of
fantasies. I mean, I'd like to, save
Fantasies.
save a drowning.
Not sure that's the character of the question. Oh, okay.
I don't mean fantasy.
Heroically. To die heroically.
Yeah,
That's what you're
it's
saying.
like there's a puppy dog and I'm in there saving
If it
him
had
from
to
the
happen.
rapids or something like that. You think about being a hero.
Okay. How about you? Is this a question you ever ponder?
My death?
By heroism. Heroic.
Death by heroism.
Yes.
No.
No. Okay. All right.
No, I'm kind of an
really.
in-the-moment kind of person myself, I think.
I know I don't want to choke
think
on
I
a
had to do too
cheeseburger.
much.
I mean, there's certain ways you want to go out, and that's not, that wouldn't be one.
Yeah, I hope it's not embarrassing.
No embarrassment. No.
So it's okay if you're not heroic as long as it's not embarrassing.
Yep.
That's what you're saying. All right. Sounds like that's our group's consensus. Before we get any more questions, here's a message from our sponsors.
So the Bryan School of Communication has a long tradition as a department of communication originally, so well over 100-year tradition.
There has been communication here in the teaching of speech and organizational communication and other things for decades.
We have a very vibrant, I think, curriculum for our students in 5 different areas of communication.
It's everything from human relations and communication about relationships to public relations to communication within organizations to video production.
I think we attract really a variety of students who are interested in learning about communication skills, but then also being able to use those skills in a variety of settings.
Students have a lot of chances to get real, practical, applied experience, hands-on learning.
The classes that I've taken have definitely helped me grow in the career that I want, and I could not imagine taking any of these classes anywhere else.
I think a great part of our curriculum is when we have alumni who come back to classes and talk to students.
The networking is incredible through this program. We're all over the nation and even all over the world. I've actually had an internship where a Purdue grad was working there full time, and it was at Warner Brothers Studios.
I think when people hear about Purdue University, their first thoughts are probably engineering and astronauts. I'd like for students who aren't necessarily interested in being astronauts or engineers to also think about Purdue, but in terms of the Bryan School of Communication.
Also very excited to see what my future holds because of Purdue, and I know I'm fully prepared because of the Bryan School.
So after that last question, we've been sitting here talking about morbid things, and my dad has recently done some research on his uncle, who he never met, certainly I never met. He died in the 20s, and there had always been this kind of family dark cloud over what happened to this uncle. And thanks to the internet, my dad was able to find a court case related to what happened, and he's from Indiana, and he'd gone out for the summer with one of his friends to work on a farm in Montana.
Yeah.
And at the end of the summer, they were done with their work and they were about ready to head back to Indiana. And everybody had said, you ought to go to Glacier National Park while you're in Montana, even back then. So they go to Glacier National Park, and they're driving back in the dark, and they come across basically a roadblock by prohibition officers. And they thought they were rum runners and shot him dead. Can you believe that? In the car.
Wow.
And I know. And when I first heard the story, I was like, what did he have in the trunk? You know?
Yeah.
No, the court case made it very clear that they searched the car. They had absolutely nothing on it, and it was mistaken identity. They thought it was somebody else that they were looking for.
And they never were reprimanded for that?
No, the officer did get in trouble. What made it a federal case was that he was an American Indian, and so there was a lot. This was at a time when the status of Indian reservations was changing, and so the suit had to do with whether he was under the jurisdiction of the state of Montana or something else, and so. Yeah, but let's make it a goal not to die by case of mistaken identity.
Yeah.
Don't you think? That would just be
Good point.
Sure.
Well,
yeah, good point. Good.
let's hope this next question is a little bit more upbeat. What is it?
My question is, do you think pot should be legal?
There you go. Well, that's it's a different kind of question, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's right.
sure.
Ray, what do you think? Should pot be legal?
Of course.
Of course. John?
Absolutely not. I don't like the idea of adding another problem. I know people say it's medicinal. I've heard all kinds of things, but you know, I'm not a prohibitionist, but I wouldn't even mind a little curtailing of alcohol. I just don't think we need any kind of substances in our lives to be happy. So no, I'm not. I'm very much against legalizing pot for whatever reason. Surprise.
Okay. I'm against criminalizing things.
Okay.
Because I think you
Like
do
bad
more,
teaching.
I think you do more damage to a person putting them in jail for marijuana than if you just let them smoke marijuana.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, I'm gonna very vehemently disagree with you on that one.
But could we not have not necessarily a legal posture, but couldn't we have a society that says, hey, we're not going to do that, but not criminalize it? If you as a parent, you know, could, well, I don't
Sure.
know. That doesn't work.
But in order to get a society to say that, you have to give them the choice.
Okay.
You know, if they're making that choice, and that's great, that's perfect. That would be a perfect society. You know, will they choose that? No. I mean, some people are probably going to still smoke, or well, these days, I guess you can eat it, or you can probably drink it. I don't know what they've got edibles now. Like,
You know a lot more about this subject than I do. That's all I know.
I watched the Joe Rogan podcast.
Okay.
Oh, that's all it takes. Yeah.
So yeah, like, I just think if you're gonna pick a thing to delegalize, I think that would be, or to deregulate, or to regulate and allow, or I don't know exactly what the nomenclature is for that, but I think that would be kind of easy pickings to give people a little bit more freedom, maybe pull in a little bit more tax money. Yeah, probably not the most PC answer I could give you, but absolutely that's how I feel.
I was in Colorado this summer, and the dispensaries are sprouting up everywhere.
Booming.
It seemed that way. Yeah, in the counties where it's legal. I remember a few years ago when the Pacific Northwest had one of these referenda about legalization, and it passed. And it turned out that one of the big advocates, anonymously, had been Rick Steves, the travel writer. Have you ever read any of the Rick Steves travel books? He writes a lot of European travel books. And my wife and I had used a lot of his books, which have great advice, but terrible maps. I mean, you can't.
Oh.
We felt like
Because
that
he was
explained
high
a
when
lot.
he was
Exactly,
gone.
exactly. We were like, well, that's the both of us. The first thing we said, well, that explains the maps.
Just roll it up after you're done with the book. You have to roll it up and smoke it. It's great. It's made out of hemp or whatever. I don't know much about that, but
Yeah.
I also
can make
know that
paper out of
I'm
it.
still. I like the word vehemently.
Yeah.
But I'm still semi-vehemently opposed to, ingesting anything else other than maybe an aspirin for a headache.
Here's a fun fact I learned this summer in Colorado. We were going to national parks. So national parks are federal land. So even though it's legal in Colorado, it's not legal in federal lands. And so at the national park entrances, it would say, okay, Coloradans, you can't bring it in the park because it's still illegal here, which I hadn't really thought about.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so how is it legal in Washington, D.C.?
I don't know. I didn't even know. Have they legalized it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow, I can't explain that. One of the paradoxes of Washington,
Crazy.
I guess.
So
It
you
is.
can get high in the White House, but not in Yosemite or no, that's not in Colorado, is it?
No, it's in California. I
No.
think California has different laws about these kinds of things too.
Yeah, well, California I think has very similar laws to Colorado. No,
Yeah.
I'm
But
new
in
to-
Indiana,
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm
Still
new to
against the law
Indiana,
for
so
right
that's
now.
is it
Yes.
against the law? And is
Absolutely
there
it is.
anybody here who's going to try to make it legal?
I think there is a club on campus, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, a club on campus, but in reality, we'll be the last state to legalize it.
It seems unlikely.
We
that
could have
would,
had some
yeah.
foresight. We could have had, like people move into the state in droves like they did to Colorado. We could have been the attraction in the United States to be the first to legalize marijuana, but
Yeah.
we'll be the last.
You heard it here first. We missed our opportunity for economic development through
Yeah.
weed. Apparently, that's the message. Let's take a commercial break before our last question of the night.
Where can I get a degree that will give me theoretical knowledge but help me to apply it?
The curriculum is different from most of the other colleges on campus.
It's all hands-on. I get to do a lot of lab work. I get to work with stuff. I get to make things.
You're always working with your hands and you're actually doing the stuff instead of sitting in a classroom just hearing about all of it.
You get to know professors and other staff on an individual level.
Willing to do anything they can to help you succeed.
One-on-one learning experiences focus on problem solving, how to learn, how to think.
Actually having clients and actually working with them.
My internship was with Apparatus Infrastructure Services.
Internship with Procter & Gamble.
I'm doing an internship this summer at Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance.
When I went to my internship, it was so easy to apply what I learned in class.
I'm in my capstone project. It's kind of like a senior design. End of the year, I'm graduating. Let's see what I can do with all the things that I've learned.
Extremely diverse.
It's a very global and diverse environment.
We're in smaller classes. We get to work on our own projects very often.
Finding this team, this perfect team.
I've really enjoyed learning a lot more about proper persuasive techniques.
I've gained so many leadership skills,
I've become really good at actually giving oral presentations now.
and I've really sort of come out of my shell.
I can utilize both of these majors and get well-rounded in these areas.
If you're thinking about coming to Purdue Polytechnic,
do it.
Purdue has so many opportunities for you.
You're going to grow not only just by your academics and your skills, but you're going to grow as a person.
I want to be that person that inspires a child to go in technology.
You just have so many opportunities here that you're not going to find anywhere else.
What are we doing for life? What are you doing with your life? Boilermakers forge a revolution for humanity. Research to stop cancer. Knowledge to spark a business. Hands-on learning to heal the real world. When you're open to being a change maker, willing to work harder to transform lives, then you're ready to make life better. Health and Human Sciences at Purdue University.
It starts with the belief that we can do more. Go beyond our borders, the world, and reach even the moon. We believe that delivering a world-class education and delivering value mean the exact same thing. It's pure gold. After all, where'd you think our colors came from?
We're back and ready for our final question of the night. Let's see what it is.
What is the best way to attain happiness in life?
The best way to attain happiness in life. John, you look like you have something you want to say about this subject.
I'm happy to address that question because I think attaining happiness is being able to address questions like this and feel a certain sense of fulfillment at having done so. Therefore, I defer to Ray.
Well, I enjoy the juxtaposition of the marijuana question and the happiness question. So yeah, I think that happiness, oh gosh, there's so many different things, and you just need to find them. I guess it's probably different for everybody, but getting a little bit of exercise, that feeling that you feel after, like, feeling healthy, from doing something, from some
internal
activity.
drug, because it's, what do they call those? Endorphins?
Endorphins, sure, yeah.
Ooh, okay, so you're high on your own chemicals.
That's a big key to happiness, yeah.
Okay. Let me just add this.
Yeah.
Happiness is an illusion. I'll just put it out there. It is an illusion.
Mind exploded.
It does not exist. It never will. Now, the pursuit of happiness, which is guaranteed by our foremothers and forefathers. Now that's interesting because maybe in the pursuit you find some kind of fulfillment, but happiness as a destination, don't think so.
Let's bring this down to the practical. So, Ray, what makes you happy? What are things that make you happy?
Well, I went into one thing.
That went up in smoke.
A lot of
Okay,
things
try something else.
make me happy. Creativity makes me happy.
Okay.
With my background, I'm into 3D animation, and that's what I teach here, actually. Any sort of art, creativity, connection with people makes me happy. I think I'm maybe a strange person in the fact that I don't understand boredom. I mean, not just because I have a smartphone, but even long before that existed, I have imagination. I can play out a million scenarios in my head, and it's just like the movies. So everything makes me happy. Just being here makes me happy.
Well, I'm glad you're happy to be here tonight.
Sure.
John, how about you? What makes you happy?
It changed over time. When I was younger, what made me happy was playing football. And then I realized, whoa, not that big, I better watch out or I'll get hurt. And then later, I started reading, and I read voraciously. And that made me happy because suddenly I realized, wow, there's some people out there who think and create. Now, at my age, I think just being healthy, breathing some air, just, it's exhilarating just hanging around because you don't take it for granted anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, waking up and not hurting that bad.
There you go.
That's happiness.
Not hurting that bad. You didn't say feeling wonderfully happy. You said not hurting that bad.
Yeah.
I think traditions make me happy. Things that holidays, times with family, traveling, celebrating different things. I think that's happiness. And if you've got people in your life that you can be happy with, I think
Well,
that's
I was
special.
elevated on Thanksgiving when I was 35 from the kids' table finally to the adults' table.
That
And
was
I
the
have
cutoff in your family, huh? 30, or was that just for you?
Well, I
35.
may have behaved like a juvenile enough times where they wanted me at the kids' table. But I finally made it there, and that made me happy.
Yeah.
Of course, I spilled the gravy all over Grandpa, but except for that, I was there at the adult table at a very important Thanksgiving time. And of course, then they changed the venue and didn't tell me where they were having it the next year, but that'll happen.
Yeah.
So accomplishments.
Yeah.
Accomplishments can be
Kids'
good.
table to the adult table. Yeah. That Christmas time. But I've lost, see, you probably lost that too, right? Remember when you were a kid, Christmas was like, oh my goodness. You
I couldn't
get
sleep
any-
the night before.
There you go. You couldn't get any more. And now it's like, Christmas. What am I getting? Another tie.
I don't know. All I know is I sleep well the night before Christmas now. And I remember as a kid just lying awake. Do you remember that? Did you have special events like that where you were just so excited?
I did, but I just dealt with it in a different way.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to sleep early.
To bring it faster or something?
Yeah, because that way I would get there faster.
Sure.
And then I'd wake up early, and then it was the torture of like, oh, I can't touch any of this stuff until I wake up my dad.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to go wake up my dad.
Right. We always have to set, and now that I have kids, we have to set a time limit. Like, nobody's up before this time. And if you are, just stay in your room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember those days.
That's harsh. How old are your kids?
11 and 16.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
well,
they like to sleep now, so they don't mind
They
too
don't
much.
mind
But
it.
a couple years ago, that was pretty rough on them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so special times, special things with family, things to look forward to. I think looking forward to things is one of the things that, if you don't have anything to look forward to, it's kind of a downer, don't you think? Whether it's, I like starting a new semester. It's one of the things I like about being a professor. Do you like that, John? Get a fresh crop,
I really,
new start?
I spent quite a few years outside of professordom. I was on a mountain writing for a long time, and I came back here, and what I discovered was I was re-energized. I really liked the students here, and yeah, the start of the semester is great. The middle of the semester is great. It's just the right time to be here, and so that is, it really, and I'm not lying, it is a source of happiness to do this kind of job. And someday I'm going to do it well. Just keep working on it.
Sure.
I think anytime you have a chance to look forward to something that you anticipate enjoying, it helps you be a little bit more happy.
Sure.
So, we hope you continue to look forward to joining us for Ask a Professor. We appreciate your tuning in tonight. A big thank you for Ray and John being back with us. Be sure to contact us on Facebook or YouTube. Look us up at Ask a Professor. Hope you'll join us again next time. I'm Josh Boyd. Have a great night.